Bryan Houston here with Coach Marcus Gold of the Whitehouse Wildcats, the undefeated Whitehouse Wildcats, and also 1-0 in district play after a big win over Nacogdoches last Friday. Coach, 35-17 win over the Dragons on the road. First district ball game. What'd you think?
Proud of the kids, proud of how hard they played. Another four-quarter ball game here in White House, so something that we're not unusual to. So it was good for our kids to get that experience, get that under their belt. That hey, we were 3-0 in non-district, but hey, everybody was 0-0 last week. So now that we're at the top half of our district, that's a good feeling, and it's going to be important for us to stay focused and for a really good Mount Pleasant team coming up this week.
Now, you guys got off to kind of an ugly start in the ball game. A couple of turnovers. Conflitti was struggling the other night. It's really the first time he struggled all season long. So how concerned were you? What kind of things did you do to get everybody kind of settled down?
Well, yeah, definitely an ugly start, ugly win, probably all together. But we play team football here, and that's one thing our kids have really grown to realize is that when it comes to sudden change, our defense was never upset that they were running back on the football field, and our special teams once again stepped up. So being able to work on all those phases throughout the week, try to have some type of consistency with the week in and week out with your game plan, knowing, hey, this may not be the defense's best game or the offense's best game, but just try to get the kids to understand the team concept. As a lot of kids play for us week in and week out. We got 50 kids on a roster, and there's over 35 kids playing every single night. So it's great for us, a great mentality for us going into each and every game. And I never felt a sense that our kids were down, upset at any point in time. And I think that was good for Conflitti to grow off of that. And though he had those struggles earlier in the game, the fourth quarter scoring 21 points like that with the help once again of our offensive line. Matthew Gooden had a really good night. That helps him, helps his confidence in knowing, hey, I can have some struggles throughout the game, but my teammates got my back, and that was good to see.
Yeah, your running game was really impressive Friday night. You can talk a little bit about that.
Sure. I mean, Ivan ran the ball hard at times. Matthew Gooden led the night with, I believe, over 190 yards maybe. McKeevick almost had 100 yards on the night. So we knew early in the season we were going to rotate, a few running backs throughout the week. And it's been good that they can go in, give a different change of pace throughout the game and run between the tackles and run extremely hard. And having that run game was definitely important for us that night. And it's going to be important for us throughout the year. Nacogdoches, they moved those outside linebackers out. They were keying heavily on Del Carlton and Thiering, and we had no choice. We had to be able to run in between, those tackles, and we did it, and we did it successfully.
I got to ask you, talk a little bit about Trevor Thiering. He caught all but one of the passes that Conflitti completed the other night. The kid's money in the bank.
Yeah, he is. He's grown so much. He worked so hard throughout the year. He's getting a lot more footballs this year than he did compared to last year, and he's making the most of it. There's times in practice where he drops a pass or two. We're like, well, he's not going to do it in the game, so we try not to get on to him. But he's come up with some big plays and some big moments for us. He's fast as lightning, and he's hard to catch. And he's one of the captains on our team. He's come away with 2 touchdowns, I think, in every single one of those games. And I had a good conversation with him the other day. I said, I want you to catch 2 touchdowns every week, but I don't know if you're going to catch 2 touchdowns every week. So how are you going to respond when you don't catch 2 touchdowns or you don't get the balls because they're really keying on you? And how you respond is how the other receivers are going to respond because they don't get maybe the number of touches that you get. So how can you still have a good night by blocking, by doing everything else right? And it was great talking to him earlier in the week about that.
Your defense seemed to frustrate Nacogdoches. I mean, they had a lot of self-inflicted problems. Boy, they must have had 5,000 illegal procedure penalties and so forth. But you guys did a great job of really they've got some speed. They've got some skill people, and you guys managed to keep them contained.
Right. I mean, and I give so much credit to our D line a bunch and our linebackers, but our secondary was challenged a lot the other night. Now we stopped the run. I think they only have 30 yards rushing, so
Yeah.
it
When it's all
became
said, I think
let's
it was.
let's throw it around. Let's see what those athletes can do in space. And I can't brag enough about Dominic Rayford, Sinek, Cook, stepping up to the challenges, and they might get a ball or two caught on them, and they turn right back around and they get after it. Zach Norvell, Brandon in the back end. They've been a solid group for us. Those 5 juniors that I'm talking about have been just solid for us in the secondary. Show up week in week out. They do so much. We played multiple coverages against Nacogdoches. We at halftime we really switched to flip the switch and change the coverage, and they were able to adjust. And that says a lot about those kids and their ability to be able to be smart enough to do that in a ball game.
And I got to hit all three phases because it was a total team win. Your special teams, turnovers, create turnovers, key field goals, punt games always strong. Feel free to rave about them as well. That was just a solid win.
Yeah, Chris Roberts snapping and Landon Elliott, I can't brag about them enough. And Landon's ability to punt the football and flip the field, I thought, even it's coming into this week, and I know we'll talk about that in a second, is winning the field position is huge for us. We're not a 90-yard, 95-yard team, and that's big for us, and putting our defense in good position. Ben Harris, earlier in the week, we're out there in practice, and we're doing the little flip kick to the middle of the field, knowing that there may be an area that they kind of don't have, and he kicks it, and it just stops right there in the ground, and our kickoff team gets on it, and we're like, okay, I don't know if he can do that on turf, so we go to the end door. He kicks it out there. It just hops right back up. We're like, okay, we're gonna try to using this in the game a couple of times, and it worked like a charm. And Ben also made a good couple field goals in that game that were crucial in moments
Yeah.
as well.
It was a solid win all the way around. So let's talk about Mount Pleasant now. They started out with 2 wins to open the season. Now they've lost 2 in a row. Lost the district opener pretty decisively to Texas High. Tell me a little bit about what you see when you look at them.
Well, they're the prettiest team I think I ever laid eyes on. I mean, the defensive line is very impressive to watch them play. I think they're 280 across the board.
Wow.
They're skill athletes, 6'3", 6'4" receivers, running backs, 6 foot, and they can run with anybody. I mean, they're going to be a very, very good challenge for us skill wise on offense, defensive line wise on that side of the ball, and really be a good challenge for our offensive line this week. So I've watched them for over a couple of years. You can see how they've gotten better over time. And since Pinkert's got there, their offense is being a little bit more crisp, but defense is a little bit more sound. They'll give us multiple fronts. So it'll be a good challenge for us. I know it's a big game. When you look further ahead and you think about the playoff seeding, they're always one that's one fighting for it. So it's going to be a crucial game for us to win early on. And when I go back to the special teams, winning the field position, they're a team that's they'll milk that clock, and they're okay getting 3 or 4 yards at a time. Every once in a while, they'll throw it out there to one of the receivers and ask them to go get it, but they'll waste 8 minutes, 9 minutes off the clock. So it'll be important for us to win first downs, get them behind the sticks, and put them in a bad position on offense so we can flip the field and get
Now,
our
I know
offense as many opportunities as they can.
you mentioned a few weeks ago when we were talking off camera about them running. What was it, wing T that they're running?
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's kind of like playing a military academy.
Yeah, and nowadays it's in 2020 you're going to see wing T for 3 or 4 possessions, and then they'll come right out here and begin to spread the very next possession. So they'll getting quads, they'll getting empty sets, they'll getting 3x1 doubles and a normal offense that you see for us, and then they'll 4 or 5 plays later they'll hop right in the wing. So it's impressive, and it's a lot to get ready for.
Well, I was going to ask, what kind of challenges is that for your defense in terms of just dealing with the wing T, but then on top of that, having to deal with all the other formations as well.
Well, it starts with a challenge with our defensive coordinator, Evan Beaton. He's going to be on that whiteboard all Saturday and Sunday and trying to figure out all the tendencies they have and draw up every single formation. And it's important that the practice plan is huge in a week like this, to where you're not wasting time and spending so much time on this formation. You got to go this one. There's formations that they have that they may or may not show in the game. So it's hard to really predict it. You want to be simple. You want the kids to play fast. If they're out there moving around and thinking and not lining up correctly, now you don't have a chance. You at least have a chance if they can line up to those formations as fast as they can. So giving them simple rules, giving everybody on the defensive side a responsibility, whether you're calling numbers, you're calling different backs, you're calling the different fronts, everybody has a responsibility every single play. So communication will be huge in a game like this.
So when we get right down to it, I know it'll be a cliches for you again, but your keys to victory as far as this thing's concerned Friday night.
I think this is week 5, week in a row to stop the run and be able to run the football. They on the opposite side, they're going to make it tough to try to run in between the tackles. It's going to be important for us to try to get out open, get the ball around a little bit, open it a little bit up for our running back. So, yeah, cliche and trying to run the football and pass the ball on offense, I guess. I think getting out early is important like this. When we played Kennedale a few years ago, we played them 2 years in a row, and 1 year we got out on them early, and they struggled. And then the next year we struggled, and they got out early, and they dictated the game. They dictated the time of possession, and that hurt us in a game like that. So, doing it on our terms and being able to stop the run. I thought last year we stopped the run really well against them. They're going to throw the ball around, and so we'll have an opportunity to try to make some plays like last week in the back end. That's I think those are our keys to victory.
Did you feel like going into the season that you could be sitting here at 4-0 right now?
No, I didn't, and I don't know if I've ever been 4-0 in my life. So it's great. I don't know if we even feel 4-0, and maybe that's a good thing. We're ready for the next one. We know how important this next game is, and every year I think we think the same thing. After we win this one, next one's this much more important. The next one's this much more important. So maybe that's a good thing, and I think our kids bleed that over to us as coaches, and they go in there. They're not walking around with their heads all high or anything. They feel confident, but they understand that there's a sense of urgency in winning this football game this Friday.
Very good. Well, Marcus Gold, thanks very much for your time. Best of luck on Friday night. Good to be back home, and good to be playing the Mount Pleasant Tigers on Friday night. And we hope everything goes well.
Yes, sir. Love playing at Wildcat Stadium. Appreciate your time.
Same here. Marcus Gold, Whitehouse High School, getting ready for the kickoff between Whitehouse and Mount Pleasant. We'll be back in just a moment.